at least 2 or 3 times a year. We get travel shows coming in, or we'll get an anchor man from some other city that's playing either the Chiefs or the Royals, and he'll come in and he'll do a little stand-up, and then he'll pour some sauce over our barbecue, and then he'll look in the camera and he'll go, and here in Kansas City, it's all about the sauce. First of all, I'd like to correct that. It's not all about the sauce. It's all about the meat, and it always has been, and it always will be.
Burnt ends are juicy and smoky and aromatic, tender. It's so decadent. It's like the dark browning, and it's the spices that concentrate, and it's the crispy bits. It's all of that. It's the texture, it's the flavor, it's the smoke.
That exterior, that, you know, where it's got the concentrated smoke flavors, and of course it renders a lot of fat during that process, and that fat mixes with the smoke and the seasoning to caramelize, and then you've got the texture of the crunch that comes from that cooking time. But then on the inside, you've got this burst of moisture and juice that is just drooling talking about it.
It's succulent, buttery goodness, and it's probably one of the best things. Better than a prime steak, I would say. There's something of this legend or myth about this unique secret to just Kansas City.
Burnt ends are very historical for us, and this is the thing that helps people really hone in on what our barbecue is about. It comes from a tradition.
If they're done right, to get that combination of the heavy char with the pink succulent interior, it's just indescribable.
For me, burnt ends really is kind of the embodiment of our tradition, because it's something that's unique to us, that we did on our own. It's not served in Memphis, it's not served in the Carolinas, it's not on the menu in Texas, and if it is, it's only because somebody came here, liked it, went down there and put it on their menu. It's not a part of their tradition. It started in one of our restaurants.
Burnt ends were founded here in Kansas City. The pitmasters down at Phat Bryant's used to cut the charred tips of the briskets off and throw them up on the counter for people to snack on in line.
And, you know, the countermen didn't object to that. They were focused on making their sandwiches, and it became kind of a tradition over time.
What was originally thought of as the scrap. This is, well, nobody's going to want to eat this. We'll just throw it up and let people kind of chew on it in line to get them hungry for the real food. It's something that's been embraced, and now it's become what we're known for.
I think our identity stems from the days when Arthur Bryant's was giving out those little charred bits. And, you know, if Calvin Trilland hadn't written about them in the way that he did at the time that he did, it'd be hard-pressed, I think, to say that burnt ends would be quite as popular as they are today. But it's stuck in our cultural imagination. It tasted good, and we're going to carry it forward.
I love it when there's a piece that's got a little bit of meat and then that fat layer, and then the crust on the top.
It's like the truffles of the brisket, you know, the caviar of the brisket is just on the outside. And I mean, I can't imagine how much waste you would have if that was the only thing you were going for.
That's one of the things that establishes a quality burnt end, is the bark, which is the dark outer layer outside of the succulent meat.
Next, we're just gonna load it up, put it in the smoker. We're gonna cook them low and slow for about 16 hours.
You know, the big thing with burnt ends is you have to be patient with them. It is very important that you cook it to the proper doneness. Undercooked burnt end is going to be one of the toughest
Piece of rubber.
meats you ever eat. And it's this chewy, rubbery, it's like you're chewing on a couple rubber bands. And there's nothing you can do about it. You have to let it cook.
When we open up the smoker, there's some things that we look for. The texture, the color of the points, you know, the bark. Like this one back here, I know that it's pretty close to being done just by feeling it. You know, it's not hard, but it's not super soft. At that point, I'll pull it out and then temp it.
Definitely, it's one of the most difficult challenges, perfecting the burnt ends. That's what makes them very special.
Burnt ends are just, you're lucky when you get a beauty, right? It's like everything with wood and smoke. So variable that you just never know if you're going to get that piece of gold again. What makes burnt ends great, I would look very carefully at the way the meat is cubed, see if I can see any smoke ring, see a layer of fat and then look very hard at the crust. And then ultimately, there may be some trails of grease on your plate, little orange grease spots. That's probably not a bad thing. But the ultimate is pop it in your mouth, chew it. You don't want it stringy, you don't want it dry, you don't want it overly fatty. So it all has to come together in kind of just one lovely bite where you say, ah, that is meat. And I love it.
That's what people in this city want. They want beef, and more specifically, burnt-ends. It's become the Kansas City tradition of barbecue. It's what we're known for. It's Kansas City's contribution to the barbecue world, and this city has embraced it.
I think it's like, yeah, this is us. This is us, you know. That together with our own sauce, you know, it's like, yeah, we got our thing. Yeah, we didn't invent barbecue, but we made it better, and this is how.
I think it's very important to continue this legacy that we have known as Kansas City barbecue.
We're the standard here in Kansas City, but through the competition network and through other restaurants seeing the popularity of burn-ins, it's spreading all over the country.
You know, we might see them in Texas. We might see it pop up in Memphis. More and more places will kind of discover those.
I think it's a perfect little morsel of Kansas City history.
Burnt ends typifies who we are. Will we look back 100 years and still say burnt ends is part of our history? I would think so, but we might not recognize them as being the very same cut or the very same process. People are going to come and they're going to try it. And here they are, 40 years later, they're still eating burnt ends at Arthur Bryant's and other places.